look, the cops dug him up. The physicist did it.
Darwin? He's not a physicist.
Nobody cares.
Didn't you say that these guys were dug up?
Yep.
Where?
Oh, the cops must have filled in the hole.
How? How could they have gotten grass to grow over it again so fast? And why? They buried all that evidence with it.
Nobody cares.
Fine, all right, whatever. Just get them back to the lab, Brooks. Cooper and I, we're gonna get a sample and ID them. This is Jackson.
I found a pattern.
What do you mean? How can there be a pattern already? There's only been 3 victims.
It's those little cards he leaves behind. That's the pattern. But Dolores has said Newton, right? And Newton studied optics. Well, her eyes were ruined. And get this, he used a high-powered laser and a series of lenses to do it.
And how do you know all of this again?
I am a professional. Now, be quiet and let me finish. This time around, he stuck those 2 girls...
Sam and Dean Winchester.
Yeah, and left behind a card that said Darwin. Well, guess how they died?
Evolution? I don't see how the changing of a gene pool over time has anything to do with this.
I told you to hush, and he used parasites, like a ton of them. He must have planted them in the bodies. In order to come to his conclusion on evolution, Darwin had to study organisms. And his girls were literally killed with organisms.
That's actually rather disgusting.
Right? Well, anyways, that's my guess. It's up to you and Cooper to figure out how to catch the killer.
No worries, we'll get him. Looks like we've got a real psycho on our hands.
Well, I could have told you that.
Cooper. Alright, what do you know about parasites?
Parasites? Well, I know parasitism is one of several forms of biological interaction.
Okay, Coop, let's hear you be smart for once.
Hey, I resent that.
Just tell me what you know.
Fine. Parasitism is when one organism benefits from harming another. Mutualism is the same thing, only both are benefited. And commensalism is when one organism is benefited while the other is unaffected. This kind of biological interaction is reduces predation because reasons.
Reasons such as?
Since parasites don't directly eat the host, it limits predation and limits competition. If you have another organism doing the work for you, then you're more likely to survive than other organisms.
Well, that was insightful.
You asked for it.
Yeah, I suppose I did. Okay, well that's good and all, but somehow we need to be able to tie this back to our murder.
Maybe he's using natural selection.
As in killing off the weak so the strong can survive? Somehow, I don't think that applies to murder.
It's not always about the strong that survive. Sometimes it's the intelligent.
Sure, but that's still like a natural thing, right? Humans can't cause natural selection.
Wrong. Humans created pesticides. How do you think pesticide-resistant bugs came about? When we started using them, it killed off all the bugs, but the ones that survived were able to reproduce and make babies.
I see your point.
So maybe our killer deemed these people as defective.
As much as that might make sense, there's no evidence for it.
Then I'll find it. Back to the crime scene.
Alright, you do that. I'm gonna go find Brooks.
Who's a cute dead body? You are. Yes, you are. Oh, hey.
Hey, I came to see if you had any more information on the two Winchesters.
I do.
Go on.
Oh, well, you know how I said they had parasites?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I took those parasites and I sent them over to the creepy bug place guys, and they identified them for me. They said that this particular species usually attack plants, like big trees and stuff, and said it was really odd for them to be found in human tissue.
Is there a big difference between animal and plant tissue?
You uneducated swine! Wait, right there. Okay, so these two make up the tissue of animals, and this one makes up plants. Prokaryotes make up all the organisms in the kingdom of Protista and Archaea, and eukaryotes make up animals, plants, and fungi. Because these cell types are different, the kind of parasites that they prey on are going to be different too. Do you understand now? It's like how viruses and bacteria are different. One is simple and one is complex. You know, besides the fact that viruses aren't really alive and everything.
I think so, but why are they different again? My high school days just aren't coming back to me.
Eukaryotes have nuclei and other organelles like ribosomes and mitochondria. Prokaryotes have primitive versions of those like the nucleoid region, capsules, and flagella. As for plant cells, they're just specialized with large vacuoles to hold water, cell walls to hold structure, and chloroplast, of course, where photosynthesis takes place. You do know what that is, don't you?
Of course, I'm not that dumb. Photosynthesis is when a plant takes in oxygen, sunlight, and water and transforms it into a form of energy it can use, in this case glucose.
And what about cellular respiration?
What about it? Does that have anything to do with our case?
No, I'm just testing your intelligence. Answer the question.
Okay. Cellular respiration is like backwards photosynthesis. The plant takes glucose and makes ATP, water, and oxygen out of it.
You might be defective.
Excuse me?
Nothing. Anyways, these little parasites of ours are gonna be a problem.
Yeah, sure. Because they're not supposed to have human hosts, right? So what were they doing in the victims' bodies?
Ding ding ding, that's the $1 million question. I have absolutely no clue. Bug guy took some samples and said that they would try to figure it out. I think we're definitely onto something with our Darwin theory though. I think our killer toyed with the DNA somehow, which is essential to evolution.
Helps with the natural selection process, right?
When DNA gets transcribed, the mutations get passed along through mRNA, which gets translated to tRNA through ribosomes. The mutation can spread throughout the entire body.
Science. Guess we just have to wait for the bug boys and Cooper to get back then.